three of the fantasy football season. And here's a few tight ends I would drop this week. The first guy, Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. So a lot of hype coming out of the preseason and into fantasy drafts. Yeah, I remember even a few guys in my league were big on Cole Kmet, but he hasn't gotten the job done. And right now, I know week one was a sloppy ball game with a lot of rain, and it was like the swimming pool over there. But no excuses in week two at Green Bay, where they had to throw the ball a lot. And this falls on the offensive line, and it also falls on Justin Fields. I just feel like Fields, he's going to run too much, and they're not looking to hit those quick slant routes and quick 10-and-stop passes as this team. We see it in Miami with all those speedy guys and not the greatest offensive lines, where they're hitting those quick routes and they're making the quick plays, and they're just not doing it over here in Chicago with Justin Fields. So right now, Cole Kmet, week one, goose egg, 1 target. And then week two at Green Bay, 1 target, goose egg again. So there's no way you could trust him. And right now, he's still owned in over 60% of fantasy leagues as Cole Kmet. So I would drop him this week. The second tight end's Albert. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce his last name. Alberto with the Denver Broncos. So a lot of hype with him too coming into the fantasy football season. And so far, week one, he had a decent game. 5 catches, 33 yards on 6 targets. And then week two versus Houston, not the greatest of defenses, obviously. 2 targets and no catches with a goose egg in that one. So right here, Alberto, he's been dropped in over 10% of fantasy leagues over the last week here. And like I said, this offense, they've been abysmal so far in the early going. I know week one, Russell Wilson threw over 300 yards, but week two, Jerry Jeudy went down, and you would think more targets for Alberto, but that hasn't been the case. And it's pretty much just been Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, and obviously hitting Cortland Sutton a lot in the week 2 ball game. So this offense is dismantled right now. They got a lot of tight ends that they use in and out of the lineup as well. Here is this Denver Bronco team. And this Bronco team, they could easily be 0-2 the way things are going. And Alberto, he just hasn't gotten anything going. Like I said, week 1, a mediocre game in PPR leagues with the 5 catches, 33 yards, and then shut out in week 2. Week 3, it's a Sunday night football game, them versus the Niners. I'm sure it's going to be a good game, but Alberto is definitely a guy I can't trust after what I saw the first couple weeks of the season here. And the third and final tight end I would drop this week, David Njoku of the Cleveland Browns. And Njoku, another ball game and not much out of him. I know he had a touchdown that was called back because of a penalty in this one, but he's another guy. He'll have 1-2 pop games a year, and then people would run out to the wire, hold on to him 2 or 3 weeks, and he doesn't do anything. And the Browns here, they've just had a problem at quarterback. Obviously, they traded for Watson in the offseason, but he suspended the first 11 games. Jacoby Brissett obviously isn't the answer. And what a horrible loss in that week 2 ball game versus the Jets. I believe 2 minutes left, and they just choked it away and lost. And they don't have playmakers. I know Amari Cooper had a good ball game and Nick Chubb, but besides that, no one else did anything on this offense. And David Njoku right now, he's still owned in over 50% of fantasy leagues, and he's not getting the job done. So right now, he's definitely a tight end I would drop this week here, and a guy I can't count on. And he's got a pretty tough matchup as well in week 3 versus the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. So that's a few tight ends I would drop here for week 3 of the fantasy football season.